Yeah, I'm here. Okay, so welcome everybody. Welcome to the Unity Study Jam. So this will be our introductory session. So we are not gonna delve into any topics or something as of now. Today, basically, we will go through what are we gonna teach and how are we gonna teach. So let's start. So moving on. So what is Unity? Unity is basically a game engine that brings ideas to life. So you may have any idea, right? You can come up with any of your creative ideas or something. And how do you make it into a game? Unity comes into that place. Unity is kind of a game engine where you can use your codes, you can use your 3D characters, you can use your 3D models, you can use your 3D environments, and put everything together to make it into a game that everybody can enjoy, right? So what is the goal? So the goal, most of all here, is to learn how to build a game from scratch. So for all the beginners out here who have no idea about how to build a game, even the basics of the basics, we'll start from there on. We'll teach you how to ideate a game, what do people like, what do people don't like, how to have a good user experience, right? Next, we'll teach how to gather assets. We'll teach you how to implement. We'll teach you how to get 3D objects and then make them interact with the user from the code written in C Sharp. So this is our roadmap. First, we'll start up with a very basic thing, and that is installation and setup. We'll download Unity from the Unity website. We'll set it up for the project that we are building, and we'll go through each and every step in Unity, from opening a project to saving it to even how to handle a game object in there. We'll be building a storyboard, and that's the step one. Step two is creating the environment and basics of the C Sharp scripting. So once you have all the installation done and you know how Unity works, where to go, where not to go, we'll start off with creating the environment, the first step towards making your game. What is environment exactly? Environment basically means the people come in, what's the first thing that they see? The environment that you have made, right? So we'll be making that thing. Next, we have the C Sharp scripting, right? So what does basically C Sharp do? C Sharp takes whatever logic you have put in the code and then puts you into the game object. So what it does is it takes the logic in the C Sharp and puts it into the character or the environment or whatever it is. Next, we have the step 3, and that is the animation. So animating means what? So you have a character in your game, right? So you wanted to move, you wanted to do some actions, you wanted to probably jump over a barrier, run through a field, whatever it is. For whatever it is, you have to animate the character. So that's the animation part. Now lighting and camera. Now a dull scene is something that nobody wants to see. So for that, we'll be using lighting and camera. So lighting and camera basically means we'll have some kind of lights. We'll use a camera, and whatever we show through the camera will be shown in the game, right? Next on, we're moving into the intermediate C Sharp scripting. That is okay. You have done the basics. You know how to move the game objects with your code. Now, what about the advanced topics? Okay, how do you make the objects interact with each other? How do you, in a FPS game, for example, how do you shoot for example, your enemy, right? So how do you do that? The roadmap to do that is to master the intermediate C Sharp scripting. And next comes the UI. Okay, you have downloaded a game and you're interacting with the game, right? So that part where you basically click on the menu, select your character, select your gun, select your car or something, whatever it is, how do you select it? The design of the placing of the buttons and everything, that is what we call the UI, right? Next is step 4. Now, one thing is for sure, while building the game, you will be having a lot of errors. So we will teach you how to handle the errors, how to search on Google, how to search on YouTube, and how to take help from the others, and then fix the errors in your own game, right? And then building the game. Finally, We'll take you through all of the steps: step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and we'll finally build the game. What's next? Right. Let's talk about the structure of the event. So it will be both online and offline. We'll be having sessions online mostly, and some sessions we'll having offline too. Offline, why? So that you can come, you can see the other game developers that are working on a game, you can interact with them, and also in the meantime you can interact with us, the people who are teaching you. So we'll be having flexible timings. We'll take input from each and every one of you, and then share the best timing for everything. Right. Next, it will be happening over the course of 4 to 5 weeks. So videos on YouTube twice a week and quizzes every week. So how does it go? So every week we'll be putting up 2 videos based on the basics or the intermediate scripting, basic scripting on whatever position we are on, and based on whatever knowledge you gain in that video, we'll be having one quiz every week just to test out your knowledge. Right. And the best part about is to have a game dev community. You'll get to interact and become part of a large community, people who are actually interested in making games. So this was a basic overview of how the event will be and what the event will be. So people who haven't yet joined the WhatsApp group, you can use this link and join the WhatsApp group for further updates. Now we'll move on to the most awaited question and answer time. Okay, so people who are watching the live stream on YouTube, put your questions in the YouTube chat also. We can interact directly with there.
Okay, so hi everybody. We had sent out a form before for those of you who had already registered, and we were very glad to see the large number of responses that we got. So we'll start answering questions from that first, and then eventually move on to the chat as well. So first up, the one question that we commonly got was, can people from other universities as well join, like apart from our university? And it's open to everybody since it's going to be an online event. It's open to everybody, and so if you have friends who are actually interested in game development, do let them know about this. So I'm sure some of the questions that you had asked would have already been addressed in the session that we had before. Just to reiterate it, I'll take some of the questions as well. So is it possible to create our own game? Yes. So what the idea for the study jam is that we give you the tools and the platform to essentially help you understand what goes behind making a game, so that you can actually go on to build whatever you have ideated. And the question that commonly came up with that was, do you have to follow what we are doing, or you can be as creative as you want? And the answer is, it's up to you. You can literally extend and stretch your creativity as much as you want, and in the end any game you build, it's not necessary that it has to look like ours. But if you want to know what you have to be expecting out of this, in the end we'll also be building a game. So for those of you who want to follow along, that's also fine. we'll have we'll basically post videos 2 times a week, and then we'll have quizzes just to evaluate what you've understood so far. That's the overall roadmap, and it's going to be for around 4 to 5 weeks. And the other question was, do you need to have prior knowledge about either game dev or even coding and any basics of programming? Essentially, no, you don't need to know coding from before or even basics of game dev, because we would teach you everything right from how to set up Unity to building the game. So when it comes to C# scripting, we'll make sure we'll take some time to cover all the basics and then move on to the tough part. So you don't have to worry about programming knowledge, and there aren't any prerequisites to take up the study gem. So the other one was basically specifications about the kind of system you need to have. So I'll just tell you the minimum requirements you need to have, and then you can plan accordingly. So at least an 8 GB RAM laptop, at least 8 GB, and then make sure you have a good GPU. Those are two main requirements for you to have. And if you want to know in terms of processors, at least i5 in Intel and Ryzen 5 in the AMD processors. So that's the basic requirements for you. And then there was this other question about Unreal Engine and Unity Engine, which one is more preferred. So essentially, Unreal Engine is used for used on a large scale industry level projects. That is true, but it's also very bulky, and most systems cannot run Unreal Engine easily. For people who are starting out for the first time or trying their hands at Unity, and you're not making a very realistic game, Unity is the best way to go. It's also essentially more easier to learn than Unreal Engine is. So Unity is the most widely used game development or game engine platform till now. So what do you get at the end of this was another question we got commonly. So for now we are not going to give away all the information, but for sure we are planning on giving out certificates at the end of this for everybody who has participated. And essentially we'll also look at, like, if you've participated in every week's contest and all that, we'll take all that into account and give certificates to everybody who's participated. Other things you might have to wait for some time before we reveal what else you could get out of this. Is 5 weeks enough to learn these concepts? Essentially, so we are not planning on teaching you how to build a particular game the straight way. We are only going to give you like tools and the intuition behind how to build a game. So catching on to that idea isn't very difficult, or we'll make sure that it happens in 5 weeks. And if you have any doubts at any time, you can ping us in the WhatsApp group or reach out to us anytime you want.
Okay. So Anush, own game engines. How does Unity fit into this, and why Unity? So the thing is, see, we here are not going to make you a Valorant or something. So we are just gonna help you get the intuition to how to build the game. The very basic to us to have it in your laptop. And second of all, Unity is available for free to you. So that's one point again. And the other thing is that Unity and all, it's supposed to be easier for beginners. See, a game has a lot of objects in it, a lot of components in it. You have the characters, you have the environment, you have the game objects, you have the logic inside it. Now if we go to a very complex kind of a game engine or something, you can't build the logic or build the intuition in the first sense. So Unity is a good place to start, and that's the reason we chose Unity.
Okay, so another question that we got was, are we going to make a game that can be playable and that's downloaded from the Play Store? So, of course, the game is going to be playable. We'll make sure it works right from beginning to end. Essentially, that's the goal, building a game that actually works. But is it going to be published on Play Store? We'll at least walk you through. Like there was a section where we said what's next at the step 4 in the roadmap that you saw earlier. What's next? That's the section where we'll be telling you what all you could possibly do with your game and what options you have. So that's something we'll definitely cover at the end of the course. So there's other questions about other basic questions is going to be whether we're going to have project based quizzes or how the quiz structure is going to be. For now, every week we'll give you like a quiz that just tests your concepts, but towards the end of it we'll give you an opportunity to showcase what you've built with the other people and as with us as well, so that you can share your creativity with other people. Okay, so how do you reach out to us after this and throughout the course? Like you're asking us how we'll be providing things to you and how the communication is going to happen. So we'll be starting a Discord channel very soon, and we'll share the link with you as well. So we'll put the Discord link in the WhatsApp group so that all of you could join. So if any of you haven't joined the group yet, we'll put the QR code up once again. Please make sure you join that, and the registration form closes by tomorrow, so make sure you fill it up by tomorrow. And in the Discord community you can talk to us anytime. All of us will be available there. You can talk to us, interact with other people who are in the same study jam as you, and you can work on games in the future even after the study jam is over. So essentially we're trying to build a community with this, so we'll put the Discord link up very soon. Meanwhile, if you want to join our WhatsApp group, you can take a few minutes to scan the QR and join it.
Okay, so the people asking about whether you're gonna get a participant certificate or something like that. See, all the people who complete the study jam successfully, go through all the quizzes, answer all the quizzes well, go through each and every resource that we provide, they are gonna get a participation certificate, right? So, other than that, what we have decided is that, see, if we will be making our game, right? But what we want is also you to come up with your own creative ideas for the game. So for that, anybody who comes up with creative ideas for the game or something, what we will do is that we'll give you some exciting prizes for that. What is that exciting prize? Stay attached with us for that. But your creativity will get rewarded for sure.
Okay, another question that we were asked is, apart from animation and game design and all that we mentioned, there are a lot of other components like music and UI we already mentioned. What about these things? So essentially, yes. So what roadmap we showed you was just like the main topics that we'll be dealing with. But even if we don't implement everything in what we are building, we will definitely show you how to do it so that you can use anything you want in your game. It's not necessary everybody uses all the resources that we use to build during the journey. So we'll definitely show you everything and all the scope that is there, and you can choose which one to use and which one not to. So we'll be dealing with all the other topics as well, not just the ones that we mentioned in the roadmap. That is just to give you an overview. Okay, for another question about whether this is a team event or individual, we are essentially hoping that each one of you get to build something different, and obviously you can interact with the other people in the community and get to know what they're doing. All that's fine, but it would be highly preferable if you would like build something on your own so that you could visualize how your idea came to life. But even in case you want to join up with somebody and try it out, that's also okay. But probably the aim is to try it out individually. That's what we wanted to say. And for another question that was about uh, that it would be nice if we could all have an offline event where all the learners unite and show their game. That's essentially what we are planning as well. Even if it's not possible for us to have an offline event every single week, we will definitely make sure that there's an offline event where every one of you can interact with us and with the others as well to show what you have done. That session we'll have it for sure, and that's why we mention it as an online and offline session. Eventually down the line, that's what we are looking to do. Okay, so for people who are curious about Unity's pricing system and how it's changed right now, so we are like going to be building under like a free license, and we'll show you how to build under that. So it will not affect at least the learners or the people who are starting out in game development, since you're not going to make profit out of it at that stage. So the pricing policy is something you don't have to be worried about for now. And for those of you who are curious what we are going to build in the end, that is something we are not going to reveal at this point because that might maybe give it up. So um, we are planning on definitely building something interesting. For those of you who filled up the registration form, you would have noticed that we had asked a question about what theme you would like the game to be in, and that was just for getting an idea of what we want to show to you. But at the same time, for those of you who have given a lot of different options, from what you learn from the study jam, you can implement it and try to create a game in that particular theme as well. So what we are building in the end essentially does not have to it does not have to be the same thing that you built. If you have any other questions, do keep putting it up in the chat so that we can take it up.
Okay, so essentially we will be building a game, but what we also want to see is creativity on your part. So what we want is whatever game ideas you chose in the registration form, try building those sort of a game on your Unity, right? So we will also see what kind of projects you come up with, and based on that, there are some exciting things that are waiting for you, recognition, prizes, etc.
Okay, so some of the other questions that we have got. So majorly the questions that we got repetitively is like, is it for people who absolutely know nothing about game dev? We want to reiterate that yes, it's for people to start out with complete basics, and you don't need to have prior knowledge of C sharp as well. Okay, and there was something about multiple characters with different actions. How do we go about that? So that is something we'll be dealing with probably in the step 2 or step 3 of it, where we'll basically teach you how to gather assets and then how to animate them. That would probably be the second step, along with your C sharp coding, so that you can give different actions to different characters at the same time. That's how you would go about it. That is something we'll for sure deal with in step 2 or step 3. Okay, so the focus for this study jam is going to be 3D. We are not going to be aiming at a 2D game, since 3D has a little more scope for creativity, and also that there's a lot more depth to 3D game development. That's what we'll be dealing with. So we can deal with a huge range of concepts, And if you have learned how 3D game development works, 2D isn't that easy to catch on. So that's why we are starting with 3D game development. There's a lot of scope to learn in 3D. Okay, and there was a question about Unity has block-based coding method, and how does it compare in versatility or other factors with with regards to optimization. So, traditional coding like with C sharp that offers way more versatility and optimization, but then the learning curve for that is also a little steep. Visual scripting, it's a little more easier to learn with, and it has accessible entry points, but it's a little limited when it comes to its performance and scope. So that, I hope that answers that question. um you can, we'll probably be here for another 1 or 2 minutes. If you still have any questions, do post it in the chat. And if that's and after that, if there's nothing else, this will be the end of the introductory meet. So we'll just be here for another minute or two. So do post any other final questions that you might have. Okay, so since we've reached the end of the introductory meet, we'll stop with the questions here.
So we'll be wrapping up the introductory meet here. And if you have any more doubts that we haven't resolved or something, you can still put it in the doc, or if you have added to the WhatsApp group, you can ask there itself. Okay, and that's it. So basically, see you on the other side. We'll be starting the sessions very soon. We'll update whatever it is, whatever sessions, YouTube, offline, be it online, in the WhatsApp group itself. And also, if any of your friends haven't registered yet, or you yourself haven't registered yet, the form will be open until tomorrow night. So please fill the form before that. And so yeah, that mostly covers it up. Good night.